Welcome, Dr. Washington. Hi, my name is Anthony Tejerina. We have
Guadalupe Rodriguez.
Samantha Quintana.
Gabrielle Perez.
Nora Cusack.
all right, and we're going to be talking about My Sister's Keeper. So the first question that we got to go through is who are the main characters and what is their role? We have the mother and the father. What are the names? The name is Brian and yeah, and then we have the brother Jesse, and then we have what's her name, Kate and
Anna.
And then I don't know if we want to include the attorney too, but
and the judge.
And the judge, yeah.
And Taylor.
Who's
he was there for the boyfriend of Kate.
Love interest. Yeah, he plays a big
also
part.
the aunt.
Also the aunt too. I thought that was an interesting add-on because she went part-time with work to help them.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's a good support. And then guess who wants to talk about the brief, like the narrative of the story?
So let me know if I'm wrong. So the brief story was, in the beginning, like before even, I guess the movie started, there was a narration of, what's her name? Anna talking about how she came to be. So there's that. And then I don't really remember what happens after that. Can someone fill in?
So she starts to get sick, and then they take her to the doctor. She's diagnosed with leukemia, and he presents this idea of like having a kid that would be a perfect donor match for everything. And that's kind of where the name comes of My Sister's Keeper, because they take from her to give to Kate to keep her alive, whether it's like blood transfusions or the bone marrow, stuff like that. So yeah, she gets to a point, the younger sister Anna gets to a point where she's 11 years old. She doesn't want to do it anymore. And so she finds an attorney to help medically emancipate her so her parents can't take from her anymore to give to the sister.
All right, so let's go on to the theories and parenting models within this movie. So are there any?
I hold two theories. Or Gabrielle, if you want to go first.
So I think the family crisis theories would be one of them. And I don't know if you want to add on to that.
Yeah. So the structure in this for the crisis for this family is Kate being terminally ill. So once they rule that her kidney has completely lost function and she's pretty much going to die, there's nothing that can really prevent her death other than a kidney transplant. That kind of brings the family together. And Kate described at one point in the film that she only sees like her rich part of the family and like her extended family when it's like really serious and they come to see her. So at the end, when it's getting close to her end and she's really, really sick, there's a scene where they come and they have like a pizza party in the hospital room. And that just shows how in moments of great stress like that, families call on their extended family and they come together for at least support. And then I also found there was a lot of like the family systems theory throughout the movie. One major tenet of this theory is explaining how a family responds to change that challenges a family's ability to function effectively as a group. In this film, the big change is Anna's decision to no longer want to give up her kidney. And it disrupts the family's effective function because this was their norm up until that point. Like if Kate needed anything, they just took it from Anna. So now it's the mother trying to find any other way to keep her daughter alive. And then you have the father who's for once disagreeing with the mom because he's like, I understand where my daughter's coming from. He's trying to protect her. And then he's also trying to comfort his wife. But then we learn at the end that the whole thing was, it changes the whole dynamic because now Anna's really upset because if she could, she would, but she's trying to go through with it because her sister is the one who's asking to like, just let me go so I can die. And then Jesse just seems really frustrated and upset about the whole situation. So it does change their dynamic and it changes their normal day-to-day functioning.
And then one thing to note is that this family is not at all normal because of having to deal with what's her name? Kate's thingy.
Bonus.
So
The leukemia.
yeah, and it was kind of hard to really try to bring in the theories together because under normal circumstances, the theory doesn't. Well, I think the theory doesn't really mention anything about how how any family would deal with something like that, unless I'm wrong.
They're almost like a fragile system, like a fragile family, you know, because of the sickness and disabilities. You just kind of have to learn how to deal with it day by day almost. I feel like they all change roles.
Absolutely. Because then you see Anna become not like a mother figure, but she's supporting her sister. Like it's literally her body keeping her sister alive.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
All right, so let's go on to the next one, which is provide an explanation for the developmental periods of the children. So how many children were there?
There's
Let's say
actually
there's like
3. And
all
then
right.
it was Anna, Kate, and Jessie. So Anna, she's going through a very hard developmental period of her middle childhood life, and throughout the film, when children begin to develop the ability to make their decisions about risking situations. So right there, you can see when Anna had to decide, like, she wants to she doesn't want to donate her kidney to her sister because she feels, I feel like in the movie, I know her sister asked her, but that, like, for a child can affect them.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it can affect them because they feel left out because they're just a donor and they don't feel loved. For Kate, her developmental period of early childhood is interrupted by a diagnosed cancer. So that actually affected her. When was she diagnosed? Was she diagnosed in her middle childhood?
in her childhood at the age of middle childhood starts at 6, and so every developmental period after that is like just messed up because socially she's able to interact like normal kids growing up, and then because she was always sick and in the hospital, emotion takes a toll on her health, her mental health, and then just physically too. She is just so sick all throughout her life, so she definitely didn't develop, into her adolescence like normal healthy.
Yeah, and I think something that affected her a lot was this sickness because throughout the movie you could see like how her different stages of life when she fell in love and he died. And then also, I don't know if y'all remember the scene where it shows that it affected Anna when Kate destroyed her room because she was like in her adolescence period. Also with Jesse, when he discovered he was dyslexic, that was really hard time. But not having like your parents help you throughout that,
Yeah.
it really affected him because they sent him out to camp instead of staying with him and helping him. And then for the adult period, Sarah and Brian, their parents, I think it's very hard when you find out your kid has cancer.
Yeah.
And like the mother had to quit her job and become a caretaker for Anna. For Kate, I mean.
It's a big change responsibility, and then I think about Brian, he has to maintain his family as just being a firefighter alone. Like I'm sure he had a lot of other burdens on top of the kid. Just the minimal providing for every person in that house, and then also having to do everything else that it takes financially and just, your time with a child that's that sick.
Mhm.
Do
So
we
what
want
were
to
they?
talk about parenting models?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so there were the four parenting models used. It was the authoritative, which according to Bickner and Gerhard, it focuses more on the strengths of the child and desirable outcomes. And in almost every scene, we can see, well, actually before in the first part, we can see how they use the authoritative parenting model because it was way before they found out that Kate had the illness, so it was more authoritative. And then for the authoritarian, Bigner Gerhard mentioned that it involves controlling the child's behavior in every aspect, and we can see that throughout the scenes with Anna. And then with the permissive style, it's more about enforcing obedience and allows children to regulate own activities, and that was seen more in Kate. For the uninvolved and neglectful, it was seen on Jesse because they really did not care or pay that much attention on him. And according to Bigner Gerhard, it's that they do not care about the child or do not provide much input on the child. So that was seen throughout almost every scene.
Yeah, like when he comes home super late because he misses the bus, and he was thinking, "Oh man, I'm gonna be in so much trouble," and then he walks through the door and acts like nothing. He could have sworn he was still home, and he was just like, "Oh, clean up, like sleep." And the kid was like, "Oh, I guess he got away with it, but it's because they don't even think they had any idea that he."
Oh, that breaks my heart. That makes me think he's gonna have like abandonment issues later on or feel neglected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't even know he was not there.
Yeah, they're just so busy with everything else. Like that's gotta just break your heart as a kid.
Well, we can also see it when Anna and Jesse go to the attorney, and they come home super late also, and the parents did not know.
Mm. Yeah.
8.
So that right there is an excellent segue towards the conflicts, or at least
yes,
one of
y'all
them.
got me tearing up. So, goodness, such an namby-pamby. So, for conflict 1, I would say like the crisis of Kate's illness, like her becoming terminally ill, and is that challenges it challenges the entire family, and it changes the role of everyone in the family. It's like the family systems theory. Like I remember writing that in our theory chart, like learning like when stuff like that happens, you just kind of have to roll with the punches. And half the time the mom doesn't get to be a typical mom. She's being a nurse, and a brother, he's, you just kind of have to learn to adapt. And it affects every single person in that family. And so learning those new roles is not going to be very easy. For the second conflict, Kate was wanting to die, and the mother was wanting her to go through with the kidney transplant. But it changes the dynamic between Anna and her mom also. It changes between the husband and the wife. Like that, it's like they switched roles,
Mm-hmm.
Did that make sense?
Yeah, like now I'm super upset with Anna because she keeps her like, that's your sister, you love her, you want to give up the kidney. But they have no idea what the actual plan is behind that and why Anna's doing it. And then the husband is now upset because she's Sarah, the mom, is having a hard time understanding how Anna is allowed to make her own decisions, and she has her own fears about her, what if something goes wrong, her complications, how it's going to affect her lifestyle going forward. So the dad understands that, and he just has a hard time making the mom understand, and so they're in complete disagreement, and they fight like really bad.
Thank you for explaining that better.
Yeah.
I think like every mother, it's hard to let go of a child, but when you see the consequences that's gonna bring of that surgery, it's better to let go. And I was actually shocked at the end when it was actually Kate wanting to die, not Anna being the bad person,
Yeah.
not giving her a kidney.
Mhm.
Like
And
Kate seems so unassuming. Oh, seems so unassuming because of her illness, and then just for her just to like reveal all that,
Mhm.
or it's like what?
and
It's like no, you're supposed to be the hero.
they said about the conflict resolutions.
Oh, okay. So, sorry. For the conflict resolution, in court, when Jesse forces the truth to come out about Kate asking her sister to do all this because she wants to die, like the courtroom scene where Jesse disrupts Anna's testimony, like, and then Kate and her mom being alone in their last moments, like the scene where Kate gives her mom the scrapbook. It was just kind of, it's like almost like a peaceful ending or I guess type of closure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It stops everybody from being mad and
Just accepting.
be okay with it. Yeah. Once it,
So overall, how do you guys thought of the movie? What was your thoughts?
It made me really sad. I cried a lot, y'all.
yeah, and I cried like 3-4 different times.
I really didn't like the mom because, like, I don't know, not letting go of your child when you know she's suffering and she's gonna suffer more if she would have had that kidney surgery.
Yeah.
And at the end, when it showed like everyone was in peace, she went back to work and Jesse went off to college, and then I think like their marriage broke because of that situation, and then them coming back actually helped.
Yeah, like it sucks to say that because there's always like the good side of stuff, but with Kate dying, like it allowed everyone to make time for themselves.
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah.
that charity work with the youth, with troubled youth. And the mom ended up doing really good for herself as an attorney.
Mhm.
Yeah, like they still had other kids to live for. So I know what you mean, Gabriella, when you're kind of mad at the mom because it's like, how are you, you understand Kate is sick, but like you still have to worry about your 2 other kids.
Yeah, that made me like mad. I kind of felt like it did, dude. Like I felt like that was selfish, and honestly, like I know they're your children, and you want to take care of them and love them forever. But like, if they're like ready just to give up, or not give up, but I mean, if they're just, they should have the right to that choice,
Yeah.
And then, like, seeing Anna's side of it, like, she's the donor, how she must have felt when you were just born because your sister needed a donor. I think that
Yes.
was
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really messed up.
It's like that's tacky. That was real tacky.
If
I would
anything, like
not
you,
be happy if that were me. I'd be like, oh really?
yeah,
Never hit it. They're like, it's not like she was oblivious, but she knew exactly why she was brought into this world, and like that just sucks.
yeah.
Well, and that's gonna mess up her self-esteem, like in the long run. It's just like, oh, I'm just here for her.
Yeah, for sure.
I was also surprised at the way that Sarah and Brian focus more on Kate. And as we have been discussing on the course, we know that it can affect the child's emotional health. And I don't think they were focusing more on that. They were focusing more on Kate.
Yeah.
Definitely some, like you said earlier, Nora, there's gonna be feelings of abandonment. There has to be,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
because like
And that stays with you forever, especially at such a young age. You're just the things that happen to you when you're so young, you're just like a little sponge. Like that'll affect future relationships with all of them for the rest of their lives, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, so thank you for watching our video about discussing My Sister's Keeper. If you like, please subscribe to everyone's channel, linked down in the description below. Don't forget to follow my my social media accounts. I have a Patreon. Go to my Twitter, go to my website. Anyone else want to plug in?
Attached.
I do not have a Twitter.
But yeah, I guess thank you, Dr. Washington, for listening to our commentary on the movie.
Yeah.
It was a movie because we watched
Yeah, it was
other
really good.
different classes, but this one probably made me cry the most.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh God, for sure. For sure. Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for being patient with me rambling on.
Thank you.